All right, what is up, Sidhdharth? Welcome to the Art of Human podcast. Everybody who is listening, I just want to say welcome to my friend. I just met this guy actually on what's the name of the website that we used?
Oh my God.
Omegle. So people who
Yeah.
are listening, if you know what that website is, it's basically a website where you go on and you can talk with strangers. And this was like a few days ago. I happened to go on there and I just felt like being social. And so I just kind of played on it for a few minutes, and then that's where I met Sidhdharth. And I had a connection with him pretty quickly. We started talking about, I mean, he asked me, the first thing you asked me was, where do you think I'm from? He asked me, where do you think I'm from? And I said,
Yeah.
and I kind of was like, I don't know, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I was like, India? And then he said, yeah, it's India. And then that's kind of how we met you guys, just to build a little context. We've known each other for a few days, and then he was cool enough to be like, yeah, like I want to do your podcast. And I was really stoked because I didn't even have to ask. He saw that on my Instagram profile, I did a podcast. And
Yeah.
so, hey guys, this is the first podcast where we have someone tune in, like as a guest from another country. So that is really awesome. I really love that. So, Sidhdharth, how about you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself? Who are you? What was your like growing up? Just let's build some context.
All right. Thank you. First, thank you so much for having me on this. I should really appreciate what you're doing with the Sapien Way. I did go through your profile, and I think it's really great and amazing. And I personally think, focusing on your health, as you had mentioned, and as I've seen from your profile, has been is something that fascinates me a lot because a lot of people, look for entertainment or hobby outside, but what you do is an example of how much there's within us and how much we could entertain ourselves, just by doing a physical activity or a mental activity like meditation and so on. So thank you so much. I just want to get that out of the way first.
Hey, thank you so
So my
much.
Yeah, so myself, I'm from India. I'm from Chennai. So I'm 21 years old. I just graduated from college. I run two startups. So one of my startups is called Nix Wolves, and which is a software solutions company providing mobile app development and other kind of services. And my other startup is a computer vision based AI product, which basically tracks a retail store about where you spend a lot of time, where you go, how much people came in, how much people went out just from your existing CCTV camera. It's a really cool product that we're working on. And so these are a couple of my startups. And that's what pretty much about me. So I started doing business from a very young age, around 17, when I was still in college. And I'm just developing on that and trying my way to change something in the business world with what I can.
Okay, and then honestly, out of my curiosity and maybe some of the listeners too, because I'm gonna admit that I'm ignorant when it comes to a lot of things, right? So could you tell us a little bit about maybe the culture that you grew up in, like maybe the type of lifestyle between the mom and dad, or maybe, because it's obviously there's probably some differences between India and the United States where the majority of our listeners are coming from.
Yeah, I think there's a huge cultural difference between India and United States in terms of a lot of things. And even the Indians, there's a lot of Indians that are there in the United States. I think they still hold on to the culture that we have, and some of the orthodox things that come along with our culture is a huge factor in the way we grow up, and why it's difficult for us to be to start our own venture, or be it anything that we want to do is a very difficult scenario. Like, because for instance, my parents gave so much value to my degree, which is, I'm an engineer. So they give so much importance to my degree that they don't care if I run a business successfully or unsuccessfully, or even if I run a business. So to start out with, I was rebelling my household, it was a huge there were a lot of fights, a lot of nights that I had to rebel my parents to start up. But eventually they weren't too strict. But there are a lot of Indian parents who are like, if you're not going to listen to me, I'm going to commit suicide.
I'm gonna what?
I'm going to commit suicide.
Oh,
That's the extent of the extent of the orthodox behavior that Indian parents take up. But fortunately, my parents were not as strict as that. They eventually went on to support me by letting me do it, because they saw that okay, he's interested in it, he's doing it, and they developed some trust on me to let me go my own way. So growing up, you will find a lot of people in India that even my co-founder of my startup, Sriram, he had faced a lot of difficulties. He was somebody who didn't like to study, all right, but he was forced into engineering. He dropped out of
mm,
school, he dropped out of college, and the society just screws you over. You could be very happy probably in United States, without a degree, or doing what you want to work. Let's say you want to start a business right after school. I think you'd be pretty happy doing that, right? Like, I mean, the people, the society might even support it in a positive way, but the kind of way that our society has been supporting us, it's changing. The dynamics are changing a little bit, but it still is a way that no, finish school, go to college, get a degree, get married, have kids. That's a part of our culture.
hey,
So
and I'll tell you honestly, bro. I think that's similar to our culture too. And I'll say this, and it's coming from a place that I was born and raised in California. So I'll be honest, like my perspective is like California. I haven't traveled the country, and it's like, but I feel like it's honestly similar scenario. I feel like there's a lot of families out here that they want their kids to go to college. And let's be honest, in California too, there's a lot of foreigners, there's a lot of immigrants. My family's not from here. My mom's from Tijuana, my dad's from the Dominican Republic. And I knew a lot of friends in college and high school that their parents were from
so
other
so
countries too.
Spanish.
I know Spanish, yeah.
I love Spanish. ¿Cómo estás?
Oh, muy bien, ¿y tú?
Muy bien. Bueno,
Yeah.
I learned a little bit of Spanish because I love the language.
Oh, really? Just out of your
Yeah,
curiosity, you just wanted to learn?
yeah, yeah.
I'm telling you, bro, like you're just smart. I'm telling the listeners right now. I'm like, I met this guy. I'm like, this guy's 21 and he's got 2 businesses. Like, he's smart. I don't know.
No, no, there's
Oh,
there's a lot of things, a
okay.
lot
This
of
is
support. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, you're good. This is the thing, everybody listening. I asked Sidhdharth this question when I met him, but Sidhdharth, if you could elaborate a little bit on it with the listeners, like, what is it that gave you the motivation to be able to rebel against your parents? Like, because your parents wanted you to become an engineer, and that's kind of a big part of the culture to get your degree and do something like that, because I'm guessing there's a lot of safety associated to it. And like I said, there's a lot of that going on over here in America too. I feel like, especially with like immigrants family, right? Families who immigrated because they just want security. How did you
Right.
get the courage to say, you know what, I love my parents, but I'm gonna do my thing anyways? How did you get the courage to do that?
Yeah, so I think this started out from a very young age for me, because this is the business that I started isn't my first one.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, so when I was in back in school in 10th grade or ninth grade, I used to run a blog, and I used to quiz a lot, read about a lot of people, a lot of business, a lot of entrepreneurs, and that's how the world runs basically with that. And I love tech and technology, and that's I studied it a lot. So I used to run a blog called Struce, which is a combination of the word strange news. So it's called Struce. So at that
That's
point,
good.
yes, at that point in time, so I actually started by seeing other people blog. To be honest, like I saw a lot of people, my seniors and my, the blogging was a thing back then, like 10 years back. So I was like, okay, let's start a blog. Let's run a blog. Let's see how it goes. And I started, and I was running it pretty well for 1 year. I got 1 million views, and quite some readers who give backlinks and stuff like that. But I didn't really have a mentor, or I didn't really have a team who could you know help me with that. I was doing the posts, I was doing the marketing, I was doing the blog, I was doing the website, I was doing the design. A few of my friends wanted to help him, but their parents were scared, like they're giving time into this, and they had exams in school and stuff. So And even at that point, my parents were a bit resistant because I to get a domain you had to put money, and
Oh,
right. So to get a domain, you have to put money, and I didn't have any money at the time because I was in school. I didn't have any source of income, and I had to go and ask my mom, and she was
mm,
like, "This is very scary shit. I don't know what you're putting money into. This is like they're not tech savvy people. They don't know what a domain is, and they don't understand it. So that itself took a lot of convincing for me. I would be like, I will give you the money back. I can make through AdSense and all of that and stuff. So the kind of thing that kept me going on was the fact that it I love what I was doing. And I was very sure that I didn't want to sacrifice my happiness um, for satisfying my parents. I think I made my parents understand eventually. It took a lot of years eventually, that I was happy with what I was doing and they should be happy about that. But initially it wasn't the case. And yeah, it took a lot of self motivation to keep doing it, because there has been a lot of times I shut down strews because I didn't have any support. I didn't have anybody. I shut it down. I said, okay guys, I'm not going to do it. This isn't the right time for me. Nobody's there to help me. I literally said that. I made a post on Facebook, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do this because I don't have a team. I'll do it. I'll get back at some later point in time. That's what I said, and I shut it down. And after that, I didn't really do much. And until college, like, so when college came, I made a few friends, new friends, and I keep telling them we should do something. We should do something. We should start something up. We should build something of value. We should contribute to the economy. That's kind of thing that I like. Strategizing, getting things done, and technology fascinates me always. So I was like, let's do something, let's do something. And that's when I met my co-founder, Sriram, who used to be my school senior. And he was somebody who's in the same mindset as me. Like, he was like, he rebelled against his parents, dropped out of school, dropped out of college. He was already running a startup. And, that kind of gave me the, okay,
motivation, right?
yeah, oh, like, he's doing it. Why not? I mean, we can do it. And eventually we together do it. I did it because I told him, like, I want to be an entrepreneur. I'm fascinated by what you're doing. And then the business that he was running failed due to people cheating him, and like laundering money and stuff, like stealing money. So he was like, I'm shutting it down. So you said you wanted to do, let's do something. And then that's how we started Nix. And since then, for the last 5 years, I've been with him doing the same business. And yeah, that's pretty much how I started. And the major factor was, at every point in time when there was a low, I guess, uh, uh, the fact that I had to keep on going, because I promised to myself that I would make it happen. I wrote it in my diary, and there is this magic that happens. Like, whatever I write in my diary, it has happened so far.
Mm.
So I promised myself in my diary that, Sid, within this year you'll be doing this, you'll be doing this with happiness, and you'll be having this so much. And my friends were a lot of support too. After a point in time, like, okay, my friends, and eventually my family joined in after a couple of years when I finished my degree. Like, right now, they're very supportive. And even before that, when they started seeing that, you could make money and you're self-sustaining yourself, and that, I think, kind of developed the confidence. But in the beginning, you're alone, buddy. There's no one, that's going to pull you up. So I guess eventually people gave me the confidence and motivation to keep on going with what I was doing.
Yeah, bro, it's honestly that's inspirational for me to just hear you, because as I told you when we talked, like, that's kind of, I've been on a somewhat similar path. I mean, I'm not an entrepreneur and I'm not starting a business right now, but in the sense of like me just doing my own thing and just kind of doing something
See, that's
unconventional.
that's uh, that's entrepreneurship. I mean, you don't have to make really. We didn't make money for the 3 years. The first 3 years, to be frank, we were doing it for free. We were doing it, with cost, whatever. It's about you starting something. Even the website that I did, I consider it, a startup or an entrepreneurial venture, because I didn't make money initially, but just like you're doing your own thing, like you said, your podcast. It's something that might become a business tomorrow. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I hope that you do make it successfully, and I wish you the best for the same as well.
Thank you, bro. And honestly, dude, like, I'm just really because I've been inspired by a lot of people, whether it's musician, whether it's athletes, whether it's artists, I've been inspired by so many people. And the beautiful thing about the internet is that if you feel like you're not motivated, you can go on YouTube and look up a motivational video. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah,
like there's
that's true.
there's somebody who you really like, but you want to know about them more as a person, you can watch an interview online. Like, I mean, I think that's the beautiful part about the internet is that there's just inspiration all over the place. I mean,
Exactly.
there's both sides, right? You can also get caught up in all the negativity. But
That's true. That's true.
I think that's why it's important what you said. You said you wrote something in your journal. You said, I want to be happy. I have this objective. By this year, I want to accomplish it. I think, and I guess I'm talking to the listeners too. It's like, that's something that I did. When I decided in 2019 that I wanted to be fucking happy and all the other bullshit, like, fuck that, I was going to be happy. I went to the park and I wrote that shit in my journal. Like, and I feel like there's like when you write it in a journal, it's almost like you see it, but it's like separate from
Yeah,
yourself, right?
exactly.
Like,
It's you visualize it.
yeah, you get to visualize and it's like you get out of your head. So all those negative thoughts, it's like, no, I wrote down my goal. What do you have any other particular like routine that you do on a consistent basis, like some type of practice that just keeps you like alert and keeps you fresh? Or do you have anything like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I think the gym has been a really sacred place for me because I started very early gymming. I started gymming when I was 15, 16. So I was like the youngest guy in the gym. In the gym I went. There. I used to be the kid there, and then that's really helped me develop self discipline, if I may
Okay.
say, because I eat right. Because when you go to the gym, you automatically need to eat right to
When you get
to
home,
achieve
yeah.
to achieve a goal that you have set in the gym. If not, it's not going to work out. Like I've been taught that 60% is in the kitchen and 40% is what you do the rest, the sleep and the workout. So that's what my trainers and my friends there teach me, and I think it worked out for me. I used to be very ripped and also a couple of years back, a few years back before I started up. So I think I still try to keep doing that, and the kind of routine I try to do is wake up, do some meditation, yoga. Yoga has been a really great part, a helpful part of me ever since school. My school was very cultured and taught me yoga in school itself. So from like a really young age, I've been exposed to yoga and I've been practicing it on and off in my life, which helps me when I'm doing it. Which I try to do it 100%. But the truth is, Christian, the truth is, I'm not 100% following it. I'm not consistent. That's the truth. I'll put it right out there because people think, oh, okay, he's doing that very regularly. He's having a great thing, but no, I don't do it regularly. I try to, but the fact is, I try to get to the perfection every day, and I don't give up on getting to the perfection every day. So that's the truth out there.
And dude, I saw a post that you put on your Instagram profile, and it was like a picture of like, it was like one of the monitors like on a treadmill, or you did something and showed like your heart rate or
Yeah,
something. And I think the
yeah.
caption was like, it's like you can either like choose the suffering or you could you said there's two options. Can you tell me
Suffer
real
now
quick?
or suffer later. Yeah, it's like it's this concept. It's similar to how this is like you can either everything is hard, so you can choose which hard you want. Is it either hard of not eating an ice cream now, which is hard, or like suffering from obesity or something else later? Both are hard. So that's something similar how it goes.
Dude, I love that because it's like it's for real. Like that's what and you hear people talk about that, but it's like you can go work out and you can put in the work in the journal or do the therapy and the meditation. Like you put in that work and that shit's hard, or you cannot do that and inevitably life will fucking eat you alive.
That's
So
true.
it's
That's
like
true.
it's just kind of interesting. And I love the fact that you said in your schools they taught you yoga, like just in
Yes.
school.
Yes. We have
Bro,
the period where you have like a recess or something like that in the US, I guess, where you play football or something. We also had yoga, and in fact, they take yoga for every class separately. Also, like mass yoga practice. And the Surya Namaskar is something that, I can guarantee that if you go to my school even today, everybody would know, right from the kids to the
Dude,
to the
I feel
first
like
graders.
that's what like America and like the Western world needs. Like we need more like spiritual practices, because yoga is something individual. Yoga is something, it's like it's very deep. And I haven't even really practiced it. But I mean, I do like meditation now and breathing exercises and things like that. And it's like if they were just to incorporate that into the schools over here, I feel like it could have a real big change because like when you do yoga, when you do meditation, like it freaking clears your mind, right?
Yeah, we used to do it in a school. I mean, we had a period called art education, and you could choose what art you want to take up. You could take up yoga in such a way that you get to practice a full 2 hours every week. And apart from that, everybody were trained yoga, what monthly once or twice in the assembly. So that's something a part of our culture, and my school which instigated it to us.
That's awesome, bro. Um, you down to do that speed Q&A I told you about?
Yeah. All right.
All right.
So
I guess I'll start it off real quick so you know what it's about. Where'd you get
okay.
that shirt?
My gym trainer gifted me.
All right. Now you can ask me a question.
Okay. What is the longest you've run?
Oh, longest run, probably between 19 to 20 miles.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
When's the
My friend runs actually.
Oh, really? Where does he
Yeah,
do, like long distance?
yeah. He runs 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers. I don't know how much miles is that. 5 miles,
Oh,
I guess.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
5 kilometers is about three miles is about.
yeah. 3 miles. Yeah, 3 miles.
Okay. Um, Now it's my turn. Okay.
Yeah.
When's the last time you got a haircut?
Last time I got a haircut, I think it's a couple of weeks back.
Okay. And who cut it for you?
The barber. I have a local barber here who does it.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So, what is your phone?
My phone? Like, what kind
Yeah.
of phone do I have? Oh,
Yeah.
I have an iPhone 11.
That's nice. All right. Okay.
Um, Man, you want to know what I intuitively thought, which is kind of like, I don't know if you'd want to share this, but I was like,
Sure.
what's the saddest moment of your life? I don't know if
Ah.
you want to share this, but that's honestly the first question that I thought of right now.
All right. I think it's hard to say which is the saddest, but there was a really a low time in my life where when just started up, as I said, the parents weren't really supportive, and the business wasn't doing well. Like the initial phase, you get a lot of trouble. We had a lot of trouble. Like we couldn't do what we want, and there were a lot of mental health issues. I lost a lot of my hair. Like it came in chunks. Like I put my hand here and I take it. I used to lose in chunks at that point in time, and I had fights with everybody because I don't know. I wasn't giving time for my friends, for my family, for my relationship. I wasn't giving time for the business, but I don't know where the time went, and it somehow made me feel like I was the biggest failure.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that was the saddest point. And like I had, you should have seen me then. My face doesn't reduce. That's when I realized what depression is like. Like I started losing hair. I had like pimples all over my face. I used to look really dark than I actually am. And I realized there's this, I believe in energies, and I study healing energies. Like I don't believe in medicine. So I study healing. So I could realize like I had a very dark energy that surrounded me at that point. It must be like 3 years back, just when I started. I think that's the saddest moment of my life because um, I had everyone around me, but I felt like I had nobody. And I was digging a hole for myself and dragging myself to the mud. That's the kind of feeling. I don't know if I'm putting it well in words, but it was one of, I think, since you asked that spontaneously, that came in my mind. I think apart from that, I think it's pretty chill.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now you can ask me a question, and then we'll see.
What about your happiest moment of your life?
Oh, I thought you were gonna go with the saddest. I was like, man, I gotta get ready. Let's see. Happiest
Let's
moment.
balance the energies.
That's right. Happiest moment of my life, honestly, intuitively, the first thing I think about was this was probably like 2018, 2017 in this house that I'm in right now. Um,
Mhm,
I had like a party, um, and I invited about 15, 20 people, like people from my university. And
mhm.
and I've said it, like that night was like, I think one of the happiest moments of my life, because it was like I'm not the most social guy, you know. I spend a lot of time by myself, and I gain my energy from being by myself. But you know, this particular party, I invited the people who came, you know, everybody. So like when people were at the party, I knew every single person, and not only did I know them, like I looked them in the eye, and I've known them for like a couple years, and like I can mess with them and I'm comfortable. And I remember that night was just like, I'd say one of the best nights of my life, because it's like I don't know, I was just being myself like 100%, you know. I was just being myself, and that was something so rare for me, like to really just be that expressive in front of so many people. But it was just like it was a small group of people that I felt really comfortable with.
That's great. That's really, I'm happy you had the best night of your life.
Thank you, bro. I'd
Yeah,
say let's move on to the next part that I was telling you about.
yeah.
This is called Humanity Talk. And for people
Mhm.
listening, these are just kind of segments that I made up on the podcast about 2 or 3 podcasts ago. And I kind of like it because it's just something super simple to just kind of give us a little bit of framework. But it's called Humanity Talk. And basically, I'm gonna ask Sidhdharth, like, well, I'm gonna ask you right now, what are some of the things in which you feel proud of the human race right now? Like you feel like, wow, we're doing something really great right now. And then the second part to that question would be like, what do you think is like the human race really needs to focus on, and we need to get better as a society, as a race? You know, let's start off with the, you know, which one, pick one. Which one do you want to start off with? The good or the bad?
I think I'll pick the good one first.
Okay, okay.
I think as the human race, we've evolved to uh, help each other a lot than we used to. I think that's still so. I think this question is kind of hypothetical because the positives and the negatives are the same, like
Okay.
a little bit because that's what I feel like. I think we are improving in terms of helping others. Uh, you know, uh, being good with them, like showing kindness, showing love, spreading love. Like during even the pandemic, the countries were helping each other, and that's a good thing. I mean, we did great. But on the other side, on the negative side, we still focus on the negatives. I mean, the
Okay.
media specifically. I often say people hate me for saying it. They think that I'm a conspiracy theorist or something, which I'm not. But I hate to say this, but I think we're in some sort of a world war, like World War III. We're being this isn't a war with guns and ammo and bombs, but this is more like a propaganda warfare, right? Like you are being fed propaganda every day. Think about it. Like you had the Black Lives Matter. I mean, I support the motives of all the propagandas. I mean, the positive motives, but I think if we took a moment to stop and focus on ourselves, like you as yourself individually. Am I kind? Am I loving? Is this necessary? Am I treating everybody equal? Like and those are the sort of questions that every individual should ask before talking to somebody or addressing somebody, rather than attacking them. This would automatically stop them from attacking somebody, or going against somebody, being a racist or a sexist or whatever it might be. So I think people don't do that, and that's why the media is talking about all the propaganda and the warfare is happening between different races. Basically, we're warring between different races, different countries in business for silly reasons. If I might, if you think about it, at the end of the day, it's just a silly reason, like the color of your skin, or the color, or the gender, or who you love. These are the topics which are fairly simple. Which is which is an individual decision that is being debated globally and being warred upon globally, rather than other issues that we should focus on, that like building a better ecosystem, building the betterment of the country and the place we live in, like protecting our nature and stuff. There is a whole other side of the world which we could constructively work on, rather than focus on the negatives that are created by ourselves. If you think about it, these problems aren't given to us by the world or the nature. These problems are given to us by ourselves, because we start discriminating people, we start condemning some of their thoughts or ideologies without listening. So that's where it begins. Yeah, right. So I think I confused the
Oh
listeners.
no, no, bro, you didn't confuse me, and that's honestly, I love that you said that, and that's something interesting and something that I also think about. I've thought about the idea that, like, yeah, like I think people need to take responsibility for themselves and and really just kind of self-reflect, on an individual basis. Because I think I don't know if you know the comedian George Carlin, but I was like, I'd seen some
I
of his
love
stuff.
him.
You love George
I
Carlin?
love him. I love
There's
George
a
Carlin. Like
there,
the world. I know the speech that you're going to talk about. Is it the world or something like that? It goes right.
I was gonna
Uh,
say that he's brought it up a few times and I've heard him. He says, like, you get one human, and like if I'm with just one person, I can look at them in the eye and like I see so much beauty and I see so much this. But then you put them in a group and then put them in an armband and put them like in a uniform, and like it just changes everything. I do feel like that sometimes. Like when people get into big groups, it's like they're not even themselves anymore. They're just kind of representing this idea, and then like it's kind of like a lot of these ideas have a big ego to them, and they're not
exactly. Exactly.
like,
I mean, people. As I said, what I think we should work on as humans. I think even myself, I should work on as humans, is being kind to the people around me. Like even kinder. Like I sometimes regret the way I behave around my brother, because since he's my brother, I get a bit aggressive on him, and I sometimes feel like I should, maybe I could have handled it kind. I think this thought should come to everyone individually, in every place that they in, and I think they should lose their egos, as you put it. Like if you have an ego, it's the start of everything that you're going to act negative on. Like it's like the trigger. Okay, why the hell should I do this? I mean, who is he? Why should I talk to him? Why should I tell him about this? These are the negative questions that start getting getting in your mind, that will start asking yourself, which is wrong, which is going to trigger a lot of negative emotions from you. Instead, we should ask questions like, how can I be kind? Is it really required? And if someone is being rude, I think we should handle it in a very positive way and move away from it, rather than try to attack again and educate him, because they're not ready to listen. So yeah, I
yeah,
think that's what we need to work on.
and I think another thing to, and don't get me wrong, I'm 24, but I'm gonna speak my heart. I'm gonna speak what I feel, and what I feel sometimes. It's like, like for me, for instance, like in this past year, I haven't been that active in certain, like, I mean, first of all, I'm just kind of a person who likes to do a lot of things by himself, but like I'm not consuming that much media. I'm not consuming too much about politics, and I'm not, I know those things are relative. I know the politics influences the economy, and the economy influences me, and depending on the president, who's the president, that's going to influence a lot of different things. But it's like I felt like I needed to focus all my energy into just getting myself self-sustainable. It's like if I focus on myself and if I learn how to be kind towards myself, then eventually I'll be kind. I can be kind towards everybody else, you
Exactly.
know?
It should start with you, because if you don't know to be too kind to yourself, how can you be kind to somebody else?
Yeah. And it's like, I could have, because I've seen someone, and I've seen a friend recently who, like, I felt like, and not just my friend, but there's other people too. It's like people get so caught up in the politics and the what's not fair and this and that, which is totally understandable. Like, and I'm not saying like, yo, you shouldn't feel like that. Like, I get it. But at the same time, it's like, yo, just take care of your own mental health. Like I feel like sometimes like your mind can just get caught up in these circles, right? And it's like, how
Exactly.
much of an impact could I really have just thinking about how everything's like messed up, or like how much benefit could I have if I just like self-reflect, and I could still go out and help, and I could still voice my opinion on this. But it's like I think a lot of that energy needs to be dedicated into like oneself and having stability. And then once I feel stable, okay, now I'm gonna go more into the external stuff, and I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like there needs to be a certain level of like self-mastery before you really try to get too involved in like you know what I'm saying? Like, because otherwise the external shit will just eat you alive, bro. Like seriously,
That's true.
that's how I
Exactly.
feel, honestly.
I think that's exactly the answer to your next question. You know, if I want to say the world something, or you know, if everybody should
All right, so
do
all right,
something.
so this is the all right, so I guess this is your message for the human race, right?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah. So
this is
I'll
Sidharth's
let you build up. Yeah.
message to the human race. Usually this is how we finish the podcast, but nah, we'll just go ahead and say your message to the human race. If everybody in the world can hear you right now, like it doesn't matter the language, like everybody could understand you, what would be your message?
My message would be that be kind to yourself, love yourself a little bit more, and eventually we'll be able to love the world and be kind to the world around you. And kindness is the most important thing. Kindness and love is the most important thing, apart from, you know, every other thing that you're going to do, and that will bring joy and happiness automatically to the world. So I think that's all I want to say to the human race.
Bro, it's like, man, like it just kind of baffles me like my whole life. It's like, I don't know, bro. There's not that many people that are saying this kind of shit, you know, like just like kindness, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like it almost seems like it's like a thing that people say, but it's they're not taking it seriously, you know? But
That's true.
it's like on some real super duper real shit. Like, what is the most real thing? Like, why are you going to work? Why like if you
Exactly.
question why you're doing everything and everything, like why? At the end of the day, it's to
Yeah.
be fucking happy, it's to do something good. Like that's the reason to do
Exactly.
anything. So it's like, I don't know, but obviously at the end of the day, like it has to come to like self-realization of that.
That's true. That's true.
You know,
You
I
have to
can't
realize, yeah,
like I can't just tell you like you're not thinking the way I'm thinking. I can't just tell you this is it.
yeah,
Like you
exactly.
can't just change your mind in 1 second. Like it takes the fucking work. But I think the question to ask oneself is
Yeah,
like, am I really fucking happy right now? You know
exactly.
what I'm
I mean,
saying?
yeah, you should ask yourself that, and you know, you should know the answer. Or even if you don't, you should follow the path that will take you to the answer. I don't know if it sounds too philosophical and vague and shit, but I think that's the truth. If I ask myself, am I happy with what I'm doing? Yes, of course, I love what I'm doing, even though it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the fact. You know, it's hard. It's freaking hard. I have to pull long nights. I have to, you know, spend a lot of time on different things. I have to wear multiple hats. It's freaking hard. It eats away. But I think end of the day, it makes me happy because I'm working towards something that I believe in, and I'm always trying to better myself. You know, it's not like I'm satisfied with what I'm doing, but I want to better myself, and that's what makes me happy. And see, even I think people shouldn't think relate happiness to being ambitious. I think somebody could just want to be a gardener and still be happy about it, and they shouldn't be treated less or looked down upon. I think, you know, that's like, do you get what I mean? Like not everybody has to go startup, or not everybody has to become a billionaire or a millionaire. You know, like, you know, a person who loves cooking might just as well be a chef. You know, that's they shouldn't be looked down upon. Or if somebody wants to just you know, stay home and take care of the house, I think they shouldn't be looked down upon. Even that's tedious task. I think that's something as a family that needs to be worked out, right? So happiness is something that comes from you internally, about what you want to do, why you want to do it. The question why, when you do something, I think that matters a lot. I think if people start asking that question for everything that they do, they would feel guilty for a lot of things that they've done, and would stop a lot of things that they're going to do, and eventually find the way to happiness.
yeah. It's an interesting journey. It's an interesting path. And I think it's good that, you know, and that's why I guess I love that I'm doing this, because it's like I have a platform where I could get these different perspectives from people, because like, you know, everybody's in a different position, and that's the thing that I'm learning from, like, I guess like my growth is like there's a certain level of humility. Like now I'm just like the more aware I feel, like the more I'm like, fuck, there's so much shit that I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody's path to the top of the mountain, you know, the top of the mountain being clarity or awareness, whatever you want to call it. Like it's a different path, you know, and that's like that's the part where it's like that's why we have to like listen, I feel like. And you know, I'm not gonna just tell you, hey Sidharth, I think you should do this. Like no, like what do you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
it's not about what I think you should do, it's about what do you want to do, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm interested in a couple things. Do you have
Yeah.
any like particular books or anything like that sort that like kind of like motivated you or gave you some type of like ideas that sometime you reference to, like any type of books that you read that kind of just inspired you?
I think there isn't like earlier, as you said, a lot of my source was reading, watching YouTube and reading Wikipedia articles, because I told you, right, that was the main source of my inspiration, I would say, because I go look up. I think we had a trivia session where I told you about the company's facts,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
how,
yeah.
yeah, the Sony's first product was a cooker, stuff like that. That's how they started everybody, the all the tech companies and stuff. So that was kind of my motivation to things. And in terms of even mental health and the practices and mindfulness, I watch a lot of YouTube. But particularly, I think the recent book that I read called Ikigai, I think it's quite famous.
ET
That
guy.
book, Ikigai, Ikigai,
Oh,
Ikigai.
okay.
I think that book was that book kind of summed up everything that I had in mind. So I think it is a book that is a good source of information of if people want to really look into the way of life. It's a lifestyle, right? Like whatever you and me discussed, what you are doing and what I'm doing, it's a lifestyle. It's your lifestyle, it's my lifestyle. So, people could take, I think that book could be a good reference for a lifestyle. And I think apart from that, anything that drives their curiosity and path, I think YouTube is a good source. So yeah, that book
uh
is good.
what I guess real quick, what's the book about? I mean, what does it
So
teach you?
it's basically a toolkit of self care and self help. So it's kind of like what you can do to make yourself better. Like what are the best practices or the mindset that you need to get yourself in to have a happy life. It's a way of the title itself has the way to happiness or way of a happy life or something like that. I think I don't have it right now, but yeah,
Oh, don't worry
that's
about it. My other question, because you've mentioned it actually during the podcast, and I know when we first met, you mentioned it about energies. You mentioned, you said that you're, I know
healer,
you said what was your religion? Or what was it again? You said,
Hindu. I
okay,
was born a Hindu, but I believe in agnosticism. Agnostic.
agnosticism. Could you
Yeah.
could you explain again like what agnosticism means, just for me and the listeners?
Yeah, so being agnostic basically means that I believe that there is a higher source of energy, but I don't believe in God or giving it a name or something. And I'm ready to believe if you show it to me. So until then, my belief is just that there is a superior force above us all. And I think we have a connection with the force, and we could, talk to the force, just like Yoda says, or the whole of Star Wars. I think that makes sense. The whole of Star Wars. There's the good force and the bad force. I believe in the energies, the dark energy and the good energy, and I practice the good energy for healing, because I've personally never been to a doctor for like 7 years, and I think your body can fix yourself. That's the fact. You just need to rest. And so I practice the way to summon the energies. Like, meditating is a form of summoning the energies. Energies, the law of energy is that it's neither created nor destroyed, so it can be transferred from one form to another. So you can absorb the energy that's outside into you for any energy, for healing energy, for digestive energy, for physical energy. That's why meditation is so powerful, because it's a form of gathering the energy. So that's what I believe in.
Okay, bro. Honestly, bro, I think we'll just wrap it up with that.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting is like before I would do these podcasts where they're just like super duper long, but like nowadays I don't know what it is. Like I just feel like we go right to the meat of it, and then like
Yeah.
I feel good about it. So
Yeah.
is there anything last thing you'd like to share with the listeners? Whether it's anything, like if you wanted to share with people, like about your business or anything like that.
Yeah, I think thanks for that. So I think I mean, I conveyed all the messages that I need to in the podcast, and I think Christian is doing a really great job with it, and I wish you all the best. And so about my business, if anybody needs an app development or something of that sort, or a website, I please reach out to me. I'm a young lad, and we're a young team. We're doing a startup, and any help would be really helpful for me. I think I told Christian about asking, not being shy to ask help. It reminds me of a small story that I want to share. I like, it's a really short one. So there was a guy who was, there were two people. Sorry, there was actually one guy who was put in a prison, and he didn't know why, and he was there for quite a few days, and then one day he went and asked the guy who put him in, like, can you let me out? And he let him out. So I think I read this somewhere, and the moral was that you should ask anything that you want. You might not know if you get it or not. So I think I'm asking out for help in that way.
Bro,
Yeah.
that's the fucking universe, bro. You just ask, you know what I'm saying? You just ask for
Yeah.
shit. I fuck with that, man. And for everybody listening, I'll make sure to put Sidhdharth's social media, his website. I'll put all that in the description of the episode. So if anybody wants to check
Thank you.
that out, it's gonna be in the description. Sidhdharth, we will end the recording, but if you'd like, don't hang up yet, and we'll be able to just talk a little bit more, okay?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, guys, everybody who tuned in to the Art of Human podcast, thank you so much. I love you guys so much. We'll be staying in touch.